Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, the Galfond Challenge resumed its action after a few days off when VeniVedi needed a little break to regroup his mind. They got back in the action with Phil starting off the session about $300,000 down after being down a total of $900,000 28 sessions ago. And guys, Phil got off to an incredible start right out the gate. He was winning every single all-in. I was doing the commentary booth with Tuckman. I couldn't believe what was happening. He was winning every all-in, and he got up to about $160,000. That's right. At one point in time, he was down under $200,000. Everyone in the chat was fired up. I was fired up. Tuck was fired up. I posted on Twitter. They all got fired up too. I mean, this kind of tweet right here did a lot of engagement. People are excited. People are hyped up. I mean, listen, guys, we've been saying there's no way this guy can come back. People saying no way he can come back. I've been saying I think he can come back, but realistically, right, it wasn't looking good. Down $900,000, not looking good. But the man, I don't know what this man hit the lab. He's really gotten better in these different spots, and he is obviously running a lot fucking better too, right? You got to win your all-ins here. You guys gonna see in this video, we're gonna talk more about the session, what took place, what I saw in that commentary booth when I was watching them play, trying to pay attention to what these crazy guys, these kings of the jungle, this lion on lion action going hard at each other, what these guys are up to right now in 2020 in the great game Pot Limit Omaha. And man, it was so much fun to watch. There was so much action, so much aggression. I mean, even with the whole cards down, it was a great time. So while Phil did start this session up 160, eventually the run good would end. He would only end up 85,000 for the session, but you got to understand, we were excited. We're like, I think the guy's gonna get even. I mean, can he do it now, right? So right now we got 18,000 hands played. Remember, 25,000 hands total, so 7,000 more hands. 25,000 hands. Who's up the most money? Remember, there's a side bet, guys. $200,000 being risked by Phil, $100,000 being risked by Veni. The winner will get the money they're up against the other person, plus that side bet. $233,000 total. Phil's down right now. It's anybody's game. That's 11 buy-ins, and if Phil keeps winning at the rate he's been winning at, I think we're going to see him victorious. I mean, my God, it's crazy. So before I get into my favorite hands from the session, we'll talk more about them. I did make my debut on the commentary booth for Run It Once on the Run It Once Twitch channel yesterday with my man Tuckman, Dave Tuckman. Shout out to Dave. And kind of going into it right, I haven't really been deeply studying Pot Limit Omaha in many years. I've been studying a lot more other things out there. PLO it's kind of got boring to me a little bit in some ways. Obviously, I love it. I love playing, but just studying it and trying to pursue getting better at it just wasn't that exciting for me for a very long time. But I knew I was going to do this for commentary. They've been asking me for a long time. I'm like, you know, I'm going to sound like an idiot. I don't want to sound like an idiot. I want to take this serious if I do it. So last few days, I've just been grinding hard in the lab, studying with the solvers. I've been streaming myself for 4 hours playing with this damn solver, trying to figure this thing out. What is this guy thinking? What's he doing? I'm taking the courses up here. I'm putting in hands, and I think it turned out pretty well. 5 hours of intense commentary. It can be pretty grueling because you're locked in there. You don't want to sound like an idiot. I didn't want to play it safe with some of the things I was saying. So if I sound like an idiot, I'm going to sound like an idiot in some spots, but I tried to really challenge myself, test my knowledge, test to see if I understood what was happening in some spots from the study I've been doing. And we had over 4,000 people watching on Twitch, which is pretty cool. Everyone was pretty supportive, man. Everyone was pretty happy in the chat. I got a lot of love in the chat. It was very nice. Thank you very much if you guys were watching. I'm sure a lot of you guys are from here that were going to watch that to support too. So that was really cool. Even the guys on 2+2 in the thread, they were enjoying the comment. A lot of good comments from there. And those guys fucking hate everybody, right? So, but I am a part of that community too. So maybe they're a little bit nicer to me than they might be other people. But yeah, it was nice to see the hard work that I been doing pay off, right? When you put that time in to say, okay, let me try to get my mindset better to understand what the hell's happening here. And then you actually test yourself. I mean, on that stage, right? Probably better if you test yourself with your friend, not in front of 4,000 people. But I think it went overall well. I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to doing it again. So before we get into it, guys, make sure if you like the video, like it below. It really helps me out, helps the channel out. Subscribe to the channel for more content coming up. I promised you that Sunday Million breakdown video, the 93,000 person tournament. It's coming. I was going to make it the other day, but then I realized it was an hour and a half, and I'm like, man, do I really want to watch a fucking tournament for an hour and a half? I did watch it twice, so just to get a better feel for what was happening. And the guy that won it, he qualified for $11. He started with a 25 cent, allegedly 25 cent satellite, got up to 11, and he said his wife lost her job due to the coronavirus. I mean, you couldn't write this up any more clear, could you? Whatever, let's get into the hands, come on. All right, so I'm just going to go over a few hands here, guys. If you want to watch the full entire recap breakdown, go to my second YouTube channel. Link's going to be in the description and in the comments below. I broke down every hand, but I just want to keep this video to my favorite hands. So we're going to start here, VeniVedi and Phil. So right here, you can see King 7, 4, 5 raise pre-flop at VeniVedi. Phil Galfond defends the King 9, 6, 7. Both of those plays, very normal hands. On the flop, Ace 5, 6, you can see Phil with that nut flush draw with the 6 and the gut shot straight draw. If he hits that, if he hits the 8, he has got the nut straight. VeniVedi's got the bottom pair with the open-ended straight draw. If I'm VeniVedi, probably going to check back this hand. I don't think this hand's that good of a hand, right? And when you take a look at the solver, I don't think it likes this hand. And if this is a bet, it can't be that good of a bet, right? So to me, I'd probably go check back here with his hand. And when you get check raised here, it is pretty small, so you are getting a pretty good price. Phil only made it a little under 3x, which isn't a normal thing that people do in Pot Limit Omaha. Most people, when they raise, they're going to bet the pot. So Veni might be thinking that he can peel here. If he hits an offsuit 3 that isn't a heart, he can win a big pot here. But overall, I think I'd probably just go ahead and lay this hand down. It's just a weak straight draw, right? Reverse implied odds. If a heart does come, your opponent has a flush. And yeah, sometimes you got to fold, right? But unfortunately, he calls. So now Phil's got to decide what's he going to do. How much is he going to bet? Most likely decision is going to be pot once he check raises there. He decides 2-bet pot. This is definitely going to be a situation where you're poker hard, right? You're rock hard, 14 inches hard. You're like the Mandingo walking around with that smile on your face, just saying, pray to God that my opponent has something. And when you get all in here and your opponent shows down a 0% hand, you are feeling really, really good. I think it's 0%. If a 9 comes, actually, he can chop it up. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is a dream scenario. And this is kind of how Phil was running to start this match off, right? He check raises opponent, makes the bet, makes the call, hits his card on the turn, but unfortunately, not going to do the job. And $40,000 pot goes Phil Galfond's way. So this is certainly an interesting hand in the moment. 3-bet from Phil Galfond with the Queen 9, 10 Jack. He flops the full house. VeniVedi's got a lot of diamonds in his hand. You're not seeing that wrong, guys. He's got about 6 diamonds, nut flush draw, open-ended straight flush draw. Unfortunately here, so Phil's going to bet here, and then VeniVedi's going to decide to bluff raise here with this hand. And I think that play right there is pretty... It's interesting, right? I really like take a deeper look at this one. Decide what do you do with the Ace, Queen, 7, 8 with 4 diamonds here. Do you raise? Do you call? You have that open-ended straight draw. Obviously, you'd like to get your opponent to fold your hand. You do block some of the 9s and 10s combinations as well that are going to be 3-betting. Some of those 7, 8, 9, 10s. Some of the Queen 9, 10 type hands as well, too. Ace 9, 10s. So I think the raise, fine raise here. Phil's got a decision. Does he re-raise? Does he call? He's certainly going to want to call with some full houses. He's going to want to slow play his hand. Now, this is the most interesting hand because once Phil calls, what's he saying that he has? He's saying he has a 9. He's saying he sometimes has 10-9, pocket 10s, over pairs with diamonds, and aces with diamonds, kings with diamonds, maybe like a queen jack, queens with diamonds. But you got to remember, look at Vinny's hand. Vinny has the ace of diamonds. He has the queen of diamonds. So those are not 2 good cards that you want to, you don't want to have those cards basically, because that's going to take away hands that your opponent potentially have when you're going to decide to make a bet here. So on this turn, Vinny has a decision. Does he want to check back, try to realize that equity, or does he want to get Phil Galfond to try to fold a 9 or a potential overpair? And of course, Phil could have a 10 too. So very risky decision here from VeniVedi. It could go either way, checking or betting. If he's betting this hand, is he betting too many hands? You know, these are kind of questions you ask yourself, and these are very close to spots, and they're very close decisions, but they're very important things to figure out because anyone can know how to play the 10-9 here, right? But even then, some of you guys might have fucked that up too. I mean, come on, right? You re-raise with the 10-9, they fold ace, queen, 7, 8, right? But this is where the better players, they try to figure out, okay, how can I get value for my hands? And this match is going to be different than your local neighborhood 1-2 game because you want to have balanced ranges in these situations where against Jim from Tennessee, you don't really give a fuck if you got balanced ranges. You guys know what I'm saying? So against that guy, you just might want to try to get as much money as you can in a lot of spots when you have a hand for value and not really get too tricky about it. So Phil takes that pot down. Another big pot for Phil right there. All right, it's a pretty interesting hand right here, guys. So Phil Galfond raises King 7, 4, King 7, 6, 4. It's a bad hand. Okay, I don't like it. But he raises, calls a 3-bet. VeniVedi's got ace, ace, king, queen. He checks the flop here. Phil has bottom 2 pair. Can definitely check back here. He's going to have a hidden 2 pair. You guys know we like to have hidden 2 pairs. Going to make hidden full houses. Hidden 2 pairs turn into hidden full houses, guys. So turn to 7. So VeniVedi checks the flop. He decides to check the turn here with his overpair as well. Phil's going to go ahead and make a bet here. Bet about half pot. Both of these guys got pretty wide ranges right now. So Phil bets the pot here. Okay. VeniVedi's got a pretty easy call. I think when VeniVedi is faced with this bet, what's he going to continue with? He's going to continue with his sevens. He's going to continue with his overpairs, aces, his kings, sometimes queens. He's also going to continue with his flush draws that have a pair. So like ace jack with clubs, if you decide not to bet that hand on the flop. If he has a hand like an ace king with a no pair with clubs, unless he has a 6, maybe he calls with that hand, but I think that hand's going to be a fold. Obviously, he has aces here, pretty standard call. River comes down, guys. You see that? It's the ace. This is when Phil's luck started turning around. He was up 160, and now, you know, kind of after this, it went back VeniVedi's way, and he recovered here. So now Phil's got a decision, right? Your opponent check calls. What do you think he has there? Like I said, we sort of ran through those hands, right? 7, aces, kings, ace 7. If he has a hand like an 8, 9, 10, maybe with clubs, might call that on the turn as well too, but he also is going to bet that at a pretty decent frequency on the flop or on the turn. So now Phil's got a decision, well, can I get called by what, right? Maybe that ace, king, king, deuce type hand, something like that, ace, king, king with something. That would be the ace, jack, of course, but then again, ace, jack might turn that into a bluff, and ace, king, king might turn that into a bluff. So this is an interesting spot for Phil to decide what to do here. And if you get bet and you get raised, what are you going to do? So Phil goes half pot, and then VeniVedi obviously going to check jam. And now, if you're Phil Galfond, you got a decision. I asked Phil about this on the recap show we did on the stream, and he said, you know, I just don't think I can fold the 6-7 here. And we obviously know VeniVedi is very capable of turning the ace-7 into a bluff here. He's capable of turning the ace-king-king into a bluff here. He realizes that he has the range advantage on this river because he's going to have more pocket aces in his range pre-flop than Phil's going to have here. So he might be over-attacking this board, and then Phil feels like he has to call with the 6-7. And unfortunately for Phil, he's going to run into the pocket aces. He's going to lose a $40,000 pot here, guys. All right, we're going to leave this the last hand here. It's one of my favorite hands of the challenge. Very interesting hand here. So Phil 3-bets ace, queen, queen, 5. VeniVedi has a complete dog hand on 10-7, 7-4. You probably fold that pre-flop to the raise if your head's up, and then you probably fold with a 3-bet, but these guys do not like folding with 3-bets. You guys know we got love for that around here. So Phil flops backdoor quad draw with the queen blocker. VeniVedi's got top pair 7-high flush draw. Pretty easy call for VeniVedi. Phil's decision a little bit more up in the air with his hand. Not that good a hand, though it does have a future blocker for the straight and for the flush. And now, boom, future blocker comes in. VeniVedi has a low flush here. He's going to be calling any bet, and he will most likely be checking back the 7-high flush draw here because he's going to want to have some flushes in his range on the river. And the river is where things are going to get quite fascinating, my friends. And let's kind of pay attention to this because there's some weird shit happening here. And if you don't understand Pot Limit Omaha, this might be kind of a hard hand to wrap your head around, okay? So Phil makes a set on the river, right? But he loses to a straight, which Veni could check back here. He might have a 10-9, Jack-9, 8-9 type hand here. But does he want to turn his hand to a bluff right now, right? So now Phil checks. And now VeniVedi is going to go for a value bet with the 7-high flush. This is why you check back your flushes on the turn so that you can make a big bet here on the river, and you're not always betting on your flushes on the turn, which is a mistake some players are going to make out there. So he's going to go ahead pot, and now Phil Galfond's going to say, wait a second, I've got the queen of hearts. If VeniVedi had the king-high flush, he would bet the turn. If VeniVedi had the ace-high flush, what about the turn? He might have raised the flop with those hands, right? So I blocked the third nut flush, which is going to be one of the hands he's going to have here. Also, right, so he's got the 9 of high flush, 7 high flush, or maybe a lower flush. He's going to try to get him to fold that hand. Very advanced play right here. Questionable play if this is a good spot to do it. Is it too loose, right? People might say, could he check call? I don't think so, right? I mean, you could, but, you know, I don't think check call is an option here for Phil. He goes check raise. VeniVedi goes in the tank. He's going to tank down. 7 high flush. He's going to say, you know what? I just can't do it. I don't believe this fucking guy. He calls down, loses the $42,000 pot. And guys, those are my favorite hands, right? I just want to keep a few hands in here, kind of keep it shorter, people to consume. But my other channel has a full breakdown of all the hands. If you guys want to go check that out, man. And my podcast, Poker Clip channel, I started it. I've done a pretty bad job with it. So, yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the challenge. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're enjoying kind of seeing Phil Galfond battle for supremacy here, right? I mean, the man is showing one of the most incredible mindsets I've seen in poker history, and coming back to this challenge and trying to make this work is incredible. So let me know what you think, guys. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Downvote it if you did, and I'm tired listening to it. It's 3 a.m. here. So let me go edit this bad boy, get it up there for you guys to see tomorrow morning before the challenge starts. And man, I got to get a better schedule. But love y'all. Peace out. Much love. Take care.